Hey guys, welcome to Comics on Screen. This is your host Chris, and today we're going to be talking about the news that was recently put out that Marvel has finally given us some updates on the much talked about Iron Fist show. This is the fourth show in the Marvel's Defenders / Netflix series that started last year with Daredevil. This year it started with Daredevil, and we recently also got Jessica Jones. Next year we're going to get the second season of Daredevil and the first season of Luke Cage. And there were a lot of rumors about problems with the fourth series, Iron Fist. It was talked about that Marvel was having a lot of issues in terms of how to do the Iron Fist story, which has a lot to do with more magical and mysticism elements than the other three series. It was then thought that they were going to cancel the series and it was going to be replaced by a Punisher show. There were talks that they were going to just make Iron Fist a movie for Netflix, and that he wouldn't be involved in Defenders. There were a lot of rumors going on, and after Jessica Jones came out, Jeff Loeb had said, hey, listen, none of those rumors are true. We'll have news on Iron Fist. And they finally do. Which is that the show is going into development. And, it has been in development, but it actually is getting some updates in that it finally has a showrunner, Scott Buck, who was an executive producer on the show Dexter, along with the Jessica Jones showrunner. And she was there for the first 4 seasons, and I believe he started on seasons 2 through 8. Now, the downside about this is the same guy who wrote the atrocious series finale, considered to be one of the worst series finales of all time. So let's hope that Marvel has more of a leash on him. But I wouldn't be surprised if they actually went to the Jessica Jones showrunner and, she had recommended him. But anyway, just the fact that we have a showrunner for Iron Fist is really, really great news. I'm going to keep this short and say that I absolutely love the 2 Defender shows that they've done so far. Daredevil, I think a little less so than some people, and maybe this will be a video to revisit the season 1 when season 2 comes out next year, but I just don't think I was as into Daredevil season 1 as a lot of other people were. It has everything to do with the story and pacing. However, season 1 of Jessica Jones I absolutely loved. I don't know if we'll be doing a full review of that season since it kind of came and passed, and I feel like a lot of people have already seen the whole season already. But I'll just say that I think Jessica Jones is the best superhero show on TV right now. I think it's the best thing that has ever happened to superhero television. It was 13 episodes of just awesomeness, great character studies, a really personal story, which is also something that I think Daredevil was really lacking. And it's one of those superhero stories on TV where they just didn't do the I need to save my city cliche, which after Arrow and Daredevil, I think has become really, really cliche, and I really don't want it in superhero stories anymore. Especially in Daredevil, where it's like, I need to save my city. Hell's Kitchen isn't a city. It's a part of a neighborhood. But, anyway, so we are finally going to get this. I'm actually not too versed on Iron Fist's history. I know the basic origin, and I know that Danny eventually becomes Luke Cage's closest friend, and they start Heroes for Hire. It has made me think that because the Jessica Jones showrunner had stated that she doesn't know if there's actually going to be time for a second season of Jessica Jones, because they do have to start on Defenders very soon, is made me wonder if there actually is going to be second seasons of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage or Iron Fist. I think they definitely seem to have plans. I mean, despite the fact that they had rumors that Punisher was going to replace Iron Fist, I still think they do have plans to do a Punisher show. So I wonder if they would... Because the other thing about Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones is that, like, for example, Jessica Jones, they did Kilgrave in the first season, and she doesn't really have a lot of other villains there. Same thing with Luke Cage, who I think they're doing Cottonmouth for the villain, and he's not really a strong villain. And same thing with Iron Fist. I don't really know if there's stories there for them past the first seasons. And I could actually see them knowing that Jessica and Luke are connected, and Luke is connected with Iron Fist, that they may just decide to combine them into a show and put them in Heroes for Hire, which may or may not mess up certain things. And if that does happen, I really hope that they choose the Jessica Jones showrunner, because she just did an absolutely fantastic job with that show. But anyway, I also think because there are so many magical elements, like, how Danny gets his powers by, punching the heart of a dragon. Needless to say, I don't think they're actually going to show that. The synopsis of the show looks like it's starting with Danny returning from getting his powers and training. I actually think, knowing Marvel, that they would probably turn the whole thing into a joke, where they're like, how did you get your powers? And it's like, I punched the heart of a dragon. They're like, no, really, I punched a dragon. This also brings up a lot of conversations about casting. There are some people who are calling for Iron Fist to be Asian American. And I just read an article today from an Asian American who states that they don't want the first important Asian character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to be the cliched martial arts guy. So I understand that. I understand, the one hand, people who want an Asian American because they feel like the Defender is too white. The only character who's not white is Luke Cage, and that's more of a comment on the whole side of Marvel, and how they seem. Marvel seems to want to get away from those cliches with Asian characters, but then with like Doctor Strange, they cast Tilda Swinton. It's like one thing, okay, you don't want to cast an Asian person in that cliche of a role, but then they'll just cast a white person in it. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to cast a white person and keep it, Danny is white and do that, or if they're going to cast an Asian American and have to deal with, some criticism on that end. And it's kind of a double-edged sword. So who knows? I think the casting will be really interesting, and also be interesting if they're going to cameo Danny in another season. If he would be, I think a lot of people are calling for him to cameo in Luke Cage, which would be interesting. I mean, even though I know Jessica Jones was her own show and she had no cameo or references to her in Daredevil with Jessica Jones because of her story. She's very much connected to Luke Cage. So Luke Cage was in her show, so I wonder if that they would cameo Danny in Luke Cage, lead into his own show. But considering the synopsis, it really kind of seems like it's going to start with him returning to New York City. So I don't think that he will be involved with the other shows yet. And this is going to be a really interesting show, because I'm predicting that the show is going to come out in 2017, because I don't think there's any time for it to come out in 2016. I predict that Daredevil Season 2 is going to come out in April of 2016, and Luke Cage will be in the fall, September, October, November, December along the same lines of when Jessica Jones premiered. And then Iron Fist would be in April 2017, and Defenders would probably be in, again, the fall of 2017. I don't know, but like from the interviews I've read with the Jessica Jones showrunner, it seems like they have some kind of contract with Netflix. It makes it seem like they have to have 2018. Because they seem dead set that that miniseries is coming out in 2017. But who knows? So, the interesting show, because this is potentially the last show they're going to do before they team up the Defenders. So, I don't know because it's a mini-series. That's what we're being told. I don't really know what that means in terms of Netflix. I'm guessing that it's going to be, like half of what a regular season of Netflix is, which is 13 episodes. So this will probably be like 5 or 6. Or it could be even shorter than that. I have no idea what it means. I don't even know if Netflix knows what it means. I think we'll figure that out when we get there. But this will be interesting because in terms of it being a miniseries, I wonder if that means that they're not really going to team or really hint at the team up in any of the shows until they get to the miniseries. Or if they will do that and then just go right into the thread of the miniseries. But it'll be very interesting. It'll also be interesting this season of Daredevil. I am predicting that they're going to deal more with the Hand. So I wonder if there will be mentions of Iron Fist or anything like that. No idea. Absolutely no idea. But Iron Fist finally has a showrunner. I think if you're a Dexter fan, there is some cause of concern because of how badly that guy handled the final season and the end of Dexter. But I think he'll probably be on a tighter leash with Marvel. And I'm just really happy that they finally confirmed that the show is moving forward. It was kind of touch and go, and as much as I do like Punisher, I did not want to see him take Iron Fist's place in the Defenders, even if it makes more sense tone-wise, because Iron Fist has a lot of magic, and none of the other shows really have magic in them. But yeah, so I'm just really excited that the show is finally moving forward. Obviously, when we get more news in terms of casting and release dates, I'll bring you guys that news as well. That's it for me. See you guys later.